One Piece chapter 1149 is here, and it's so good. Page after page was so good. Revelations left and right, so many things to consider and figure out, as well as amazing emotional beats. Oh, I loved it so much. So Gabon, he's here. He has descended upon the enemy who are here to take the children. We have a good One Piece dad for once, and he's amazing in this chapter. First of all, going straight to it with Summers announcing that he's rusty as he shows everyone else up. We have some amazing action with thorns going up, axe flying through the air. Summers recognizes him, so they have a history, and apparently it's enough to intimidate someone who is immortal and can regenerate. But even then, Scupper has figured out how to work around that too. I love the dialogue where he says, "What are you doing in Elbaf?" And Gabon's answer is, "Let's not get bogged down with boring questions." Such a stellar line. And then the Straw Hats are having a chat here, and Robin says, "Yeah, we met him at the castle. He's the father of the boy at the school named Colin." And then immediately thereafter, in the same panel, the question is, what's he doing in the land of the giants? Well, his son is here. He clearly has a family and an established life here. First of all, why would the second-hand man of Roger not be in the land of the giants? His legend is giant on its own. He can go wherever he well pleases, and the land of the giants is awesome. So why wouldn't he be here? Second, is this world so bad at fathering that he has a son here? Is it a good enough? Yeah, I know he has a son here. You said that. Why is he here, though? 1 + 1 does not equal 2. It'd be even more sad if Usopp was the one that asked the question again. Anyway, Chopper's still hiding in the beard. Robin's trying to attack from afar, but Jinbei doesn't want her to potentially get hurt even more by trying to do a long-range attack when the thorns are so powerful. Doesn't matter, because Scupper's got it. Crimson Lotus Hell is such a cool move that he uses to try to keep Gabon back, but again, he's too powerful, and he jumps right over it all and slices through him. Is it Conqueror's Haki? Is it something more? What I do know is that, here it is, the line was, how was he able to slice up a guy who's immortal? That's got, oh gosh, right, my dyslexia. That's got to be a crucial secret. It does, doesn't it? It's almost as if we're gonna have to learn from him. Anyway, as soon as Gabon chops through him, he just keeps running, shouting after his son, "I'm coming, Colin!" The upper half of Summers hasn't even started descending, let alone hit the ground. It hasn't even started descending yet. And Gabon is on the ground, full tilt, after his son. And I love too, well, we'll get to that. So Chopper also is running. He's been hiding this whole time. Everyone else has been trying to attack, and Chopper has been on the outs, but it's like Chopper knows that he's about to be needed. I don't know how, but he chooses this moment to leave and to rush forward as well. Meanwhile, the library is burning. Now, I really thought that there was a good possibility that Anji, or however you would say her name, was a betrayer, but I guess not. I don't know, because she's standing here crying, and there's no reason for her to fake it in front of Killingham and no one else. So I guess, I don't know, I guess she's sincere. So she set the library on fire, and then daggone Killingham has a flaming bow and arrow, and he's like, all right, that's all I needed to see. Good job. I'm gonna take care of the rest. Which means I mean, obviously, but also seeing it in action makes it that much more powerful. The only reason that he has her burning the library by her own hand is so that the giants will burn their own history by their own hands. Killingham has no problem stepping in and just handling the rest. He just wanted the first initial flame to be done by them. He just wanted to break them. You guys are going to be our soldiers for war. You don't have a choice. And the way we're gonna do it is by making you burn your past and by harming your future. And I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna watch you do it just so that it's you. Just so that I make sure that it's by your hand that it's done. And I can handle the rest. Oh, ugh. And then the reactions, especially from Robin, her crying, that look on her face, the shaking motion around her. It strikes so hard because, one, she's already lost O'Hara once and everyone on it. Then we find out that the books were able to be saved. They were thrown in the water and recovered. They were able to be saved, and so she had a new hope. And she comes to Elbaf, and she's finally reunited with the books, only for them all to be burned in front of her again. And between Robin's reaction, Saul crying into the thorns, their leader, Ural, sobbing on his own as well, and then our sweet little giant child who was willing to give her life up for this, who believed that the world would be better off without her. Very Robin-esque. Believed that the world would be better off without her because her death would allow the rest to be saved, and she genuinely didn't believe that her life was as valuable as the history that they wanted to preserve. She thought that it would be better if she died and if the library stayed. So she was willing to die for this. And so when she's called back from the Arrow, this is a tragic thing for her. She's apologizing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I'm still alive. I'm sorry that everything's burning because of me. That's some kind of weight to put on a child's shoulders, to think that of themselves, that it would be better if they had died and now the world is worse off because their life was preserved instead of the things that they set ablaze for her life. That's horrible. I hope that she at least has a conversation with Robin. After all these reactions, after all this emotion, I hope Oda doesn't save the books again. I know that sounds terrible because obviously I want history to be preserved. I want what O'Hara fought for and died for to be passed on. But if we save them by throwing them into the water for a couple of weeks, and then there's bombs and they preserve, and then we set them all aflame, and then they preserve, it's gonna be one time too many, is all I'm saying. So while I don't want to lose the books, I also don't want to surprise they were fine again. Culture, history, children, troops. You don't have the right to take any of these things away. Stellar line, and you're right. Oh, it killed me when Gabon shows up and all the kids are looking back and they're like, oh, Colin, it's your dad. And he's thinking to himself, don't speak up, Colin, don't do it. And then you turn the page and there he is. Daddy! That's my daddy, everybody! Guess what? He's stronger than anybody! He's gonna save us all! His adorable little face, his arms up in the air, complete trust in his dad, in his strong father who is here. Of course he would come to save me. And of course, if he's here, we're safe. That's what I want. That's the kind of father I want children to have. And it makes me so happy that Gabon is that in this story. That Gabon is that for his child. And that fierce, intense look on his face as he charges and starts attacking. And in his mind, he's thinking, okay, I can still do it. I can still save everything, right? The books are burning, but only just. So I can put out the fire, I can save my son, I can save Elbaf if I just do everything as fast as possible. If I do it all in an instant, I could still save everything. Like, you can see his analytical mind, you can see his strategizing, you can see that very likely he's been some kind of protector for this island for a long time, that he has that nature about him, that he doesn't want to make a compromise, that he doesn't want to see his country, the country that he's adopted as his own, that has been his home, he doesn't want to see it harmed. He doesn't want to see the people hurt. He doesn't want his son to be in any kind of danger. He doesn't want their history to be destroyed. He wants to be everything for everyone, to the point that even in this moment he thinks, as long as I can do it in an instant, then I can save everything, right? But Gunko has the spear thing up to Colin's throat, and threatening, him, to which Gabon is telling him, just hang in there, I'm gonna be there. And Colin believes in him. Like, yes, okay, I'm a warrior. And he's hanging on and he's being brave and he's being strong for his father because he believes in his father. And we get this amazing flashback of right after Colin was born, and he says, he's adorable and huge. What a gift you've given me, Ripley, my lifelong treasure. And in a series where treasure is so emphasized, what a beautiful line. Again, that was something pointed out by a patron. What a beautiful line for someone to be saying when the One Piece is still out there and when everyone's greatest treasure is so emphasized, that it's his son, that's his greatest treasure, that this is a gift that's been given to him. And now here he is fighting for his life to preserve this gift. So we see his intensity, we see his fierceness, we see him about to go in full tilt as we would expect, but then that flash of future sight shows him that Gunko means it, that his son is going to die if he doesn't stop. And so we go from this full tilt, all in strike to drops the axe, don't do it, I yield. What an incredible chapter for Gabon. Even if he didn't slice through Summers, even if the whole chapter was just focused on his devotion to his kid, 10 out of 10 chapter for him. Stunning. Amazing. And man, this panel of the giant Colin standing there with his head tilted back, gritting his teeth, holding back tears, while the arrow is wrapped near around his neck. And Gunko and Gabon are standing there on the arrow. And you have his head, I'll just put it on the screen, you have his head up top, the arrow is separating the head and the body, not truly, but like perspective-wise, and then you have the bubble, the speech bubble underneath. I'm sorry, Elbaf. Oh, what a moving panel. I would have loved this to be a whole page. It's so stunning. And then Gunko strikes Gabon 3 times through the chest, struck through with arrows, and he falls. And Chopper is right on his heels. Chopper is right on his way to him. So I don't know where Gabon is falling. I assume, you know, he's probably not going to be too far from where Luffy and Sanji and Zoro and all of them are. So, you know, they might meet up, but our team doctor will be there with him as well, I assume. So I'm sure that he'll get fixed up. I guess that's why we've been holding back Chopper all this time, and he hasn't entered into the action because this is where he needed to be story-wise to keep us moving after all of this, after this amazing display that he put on. And we're still not done. So then he falls, and then the flashback begins with Gunko. The kids shouting dad, or rather Colin shouting daddy, kind of brings her back to a forgotten memory. Now the way I'm taking this, and of course more is to be given later on, so I might take it all back, but the way I'm taking this right now is I think that both of these memories belong to her and they're just shown out of order, because Colin screaming daddy is the recall moment. So the first memory that she's going to be smacked back into is going to be her screaming daddy. And then the more clear memory will be of the relationship she had with her dad or stand-in dad, adoptive, found family, whatever Brook would be to her. But at some point, you know, we have a Gunko with tears streaming down her face, screaming, "Father!" And we see, you know, Brook giving his signature laugh, and, well, it's a dream. It's a dream. It's my dream to be a pirate, you see. So apparently there's a theory floating around, an idea that a lot of people have accepted, that this is Brook in his backstory, which we've had hinted at plenty, and then this is probably a princess of the royal army that he was a part of, royal guard that he was a part of, and maybe he was more of a father figure to her than a literal father. Here's the thing. This is my thought. Maybe he's not a blood father. I guess I won't comment on that. I kind of lean towards him being her blood dad, but it doesn't super matter. No matter what, he seems to be in some sort of fatherly role to her. Now, what she said earlier in the chapter when she was ready to stab through Colin's neck, as a part of her threat, she was essentially telling Gabon, think wisely about this. And her line was, a life once lost will never return. I feel like that line is probably significant within the chapter that we find that she has some sort of suppressed memories, some sort of connection to Brooke, which explains why she's drawn to his music. There's some subconscious attachment that she still has to him that was drawing her to him, and that memory wasn't coming to the forefront, maybe. Of course, she was a fangirl, but, you know, but these memories have been suppressed. And she did have a different intro card than the others did when she was first introduced in Elbaf. And here Brooke says the resemblance is uncanny. So he recognizes her too. Now, Brooke didn't think of her when he was lost in Thriller Bark. He was pretty much only thinking of Laboon, if anyone, after his crew died, and at least as far as we're aware, she didn't cross his mind. She certainly wasn't what he talked about when we were discussing that flashback and we were discussing all that time that he was alone at sea. So my thought is that he thought she was dead. My thought is that it's possible that she was either killed in front of him and didn't actually die, or did actually die, and this is her being animated by Imu. I know that's really dark. Or more likely, kidnapped, because she's now being forced to be a kidnapper, so that would be a pretty interesting parallel. If she was kidnapped as a child, turned immortal, and now she's stuck at this age because she's immortal like the rest of the Celestial Dragons and those that serve directly under Imu, which is why she looks much younger than she would actually be. But Brooke thinks she's gone. Brooke thinks she's dead. She's not a factor in his life. He doesn't expect to ever see her again, which is why he wouldn't be yearning for her when he's wondering, is it worth living anymore? Now, he could still say, like, it'd be nice to die because then I could see my daughter again. But, I mean, at least for me, if he thought that she was dead and there was no returning to her in this life, then that would make sense why he was thinking of Laboon, you know, during his backstory, where he was stuck, isolated. Anyway, she does recognize him, though. When the memories strike her, whatever has been suppressed, when the memories strike her, she realizes, wait, this is Brooke. And then she goes running to him, are you Brooke? Which is admittedly an indication that, you know, father figure, maybe. But the fact that she's screaming out father, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. There's options here. But anyway, Imu's taking over her body. This is, it's taken me forever to get to this point because there's so much to talk about here. Imu is taking over her body. It seems like some kind of possession. I think that because she had a different intro card, because it seems that she maybe was abducted, maybe when she's screaming out father, it is her actually being taken away and by the Celestial Dragons to be their servant, and maybe Imu has chosen her to be his personal puppet. So if he needs a job done, he can send her in and anytime he wants, pop in through her. Imu said, what is taking so long? At this moment, the Holy Land is a sea of fire. Right! Another plot point! The Holy Land is on fire! Did Dragon attack? Are the Revolutionary Army moving? We need greater numbers. Allow Mu to show you the dominance of God. So, oh my goodness. So, oh my goodness, he wants them to hurry up and finish the job and get back to the Holy Land so that they can handle the emergency that's happening there. So I guess Imu's plan is to show up, exert his power, finish everyone, and or knock everyone out, snatch the kids on his own, get them back there and get them moving, because, you know, he's not going to show up and put out the fires and handle all the situations. Now, it certainly is possible that Imu can possess anyone he wants, any of his subjects, or anyone at all. It's possible that he could do. But it does feel very deliberate that it would be Gunko that he is doing this with, so I think that there must be some sort of history there with them. I'm just more excited to hear about the history with Brooke. I know that sounds insane because our main villain of the series is showing up and saying, I'm going to take care of this, and we don't have a break next week, which means that the next chapter is probably going to be even more crazy. But I really want to know about Brooke. Oh, what a chapter. What a chapter between the Gabon stuff, the Brooke stuff, and now this stuff. What a chapter. Oh, man. I probably didn't even talk about everything. So good. What did you think about the chapter? What do you want to talk about that I didn't talk about? What are your theories that I didn't touch on, that I didn't even mention? What do you think I said that was dumb? Please do chat with me more in the comments. I would love to continue discussing with you. I'll see you again soon. Bye.